Well played, lads. A fantastic game today for the ESPFA Interleague team. But firstly, how did it feel to be selected to showcase your talents against a professional academy in Port Vale?
Yeah, it felt good. Obviously, there's loads of different players on the course, and to be in a squad of 17 or however many, felt really good. Professional, to be fair, to get into the next step.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. It was good. Good to be selected out of all the students in the programme. Just shows you work hard, then you'll get it, you know what I mean?
How did you find playing with the other selected Interleague students across both divisions for the first time today?
It was different to start. I think you could see, obviously going 2-0 down, I think it took a while for us to gel, but after a while I think it was a good contest between both of us, so I think we did well, to be fair, to get over it quickly.
Yeah, I agree. You can tell we haven't trained or played together, but it's good experience. We're all good players, so we gelled after their first half, I suppose. But yeah, it's decent.
It was a very tough and competitive game today. Is that what you expected from Port Vale?
Yeah. I mean, Port Vale are probably going to be a lot better than the sides that we've played, so it was obviously a big step up. But they were exactly what we expected after. Really good side.
Yeah, same. You can just tell they're well drilled and training every day. Set pieces, for example, they always have something different, and it shows. To be fair, it shows.
You got yourself on the score sheet today. How did that make you feel? And talk us through the goal and the build-up.
Buzzing for starters. Thought it was a good goal myself. Great ball from Lee over to me, touch into the space and slotted it, didn't I? So decent. Yeah, felt good.
Yeah, fantastic finish. And what positive can you take from tonight's fixture?
I'll probably say that even though we've not known each other at all and we've come in, I think we all made a good account for ourselves, and no one really was shy. Everyone was up for it and prepared well, I would say.
One positive I feel was how well we did to keep the score down for them. I thought we defended very well. Midfield was good and we battled well. We didn't just show them loads of respect. We gave them a good game, I thought.
Yeah, 100%. And lastly, can you summarise tonight's event and how it felt to play in the ESPFA Interleague team?
Yeah, it felt good. Obviously being picked ahead of loads of different players on the course, it's like a good confidence boost as well ahead of next week, because obviously we've got a final as well. It's a big setup.
Felt really good. Great occasion, and just show higher teams and play against higher teams, test yourself, see how well you do, and the team done well. It's a good occasion for all, isn't it?
Brilliant, well done, lads.
Cheers. Thank you.
Okay, so firstly, a fantastic night. What do you think it means for the ESPFA students who were selected tonight to play against Port Vale for the Interleague team?
I think, Jack, it means a lot to the students really to be selected. You could almost liken it to an England cap really, when you think about the number of students we have who play throughout our games programme through a number of clubs through the North and Midlands region. To be selected to be one of the players to play tonight is a massive achievement in their selected position. And I think, obviously coming here today, I think they would have been extremely motivated and extremely proud to be selected really, which has been based on the performances throughout the season.
And how did you find coaching the selected students for the first time tonight?
Yeah, it's always interesting in taking one of these sort of interleague matches, because essentially you're playing against a team who train together every single day, who have that cohesion, both with and without the ball. And for ourselves, obviously that's a little bit more difficult, because what you're doing is you're putting really good players that we have, or we believe we have, throughout the different teams. But the reality is the lads have never been a cohesive unit together before, and what you're trying to do is, in that sort of situation, is you're trying to set up a game plan which allows them to compete and be competitive in the fixture, whilst also allowing them to potentially bring out the best traits of themselves within that unit really, which is a difficult task. But I felt that, in terms of how we went about it and some of the details we tried to put in them, that we gave a good account of ourselves.
Yeah, 100%. So talk us through the game today. How do you think the team performed?
So, I feel in general they were competitive throughout the game. In the early stages of the game, you can always see there's a bit of nervousness from the lads, and as I say, there's always a bit that them combinations or them cohesive patterns that you want to see from a team, both with and without the ball, are probably a struggle in the early part of the game, while players get to know each other and familiarise themselves with the different distances of the teammates on the field. But once they got the hang of that, later on, after say the first 25 minutes, I felt there was much more positives to take from the game in the way they were able to build up, the way they were able to play through the units of the team, and actually the way they defended against the ball, which was a struggle for them early on. There was just opportunities where the opposition could play through a little too easy, and that's to be expected really. But yeah, massive positives.
And the students made a fantastic account of themselves tonight, but was there anyone in particular that stood out for you today?
Yeah, I think there was a number of individuals who played really well. Adam Mosley's always going to be a threat when he plays up the top end of the pitch. He has fantastic movements and technique to get in really good areas, and obviously finished an opportunity really well. And I felt throughout the game there was some really good stabilising players for us, both in the defensive unit, in the midfield section, which allowed us to sort of that platform to compete. Lewis Jenkinson did very well in the second half in goal at key moments for us to keep us within the distance of the scoreline, if you like. And I also felt if I had to sort of pick out one player who made an impact from the substitute bench, although there was a few of them, I'd really like to select Lee Main, who I felt really impressed me. He brought energy to the game, really good technique when travelling with the ball, and gave us an impetus at the back end of the fixture. But like I said, they're just a few I can select. There was really good performances across the board from individuals. So I think in general, the positives I can take, I mean, first of all, I felt that, like I say, we were competitive throughout. One thing we really struggled in the game, and I didn't think this would necessarily be the case, I expected us to be played through more and maybe more vulnerable in terms of them being able to cut through us. But the biggest problem we had was actually set plays and being able to compete physically in them duels. So that was the biggest hurdle we faced tonight, and obviously we conceded 2 goals from that. But I think the biggest positives for me was the way that the team have been able to come together, compete, make sure that at different times in the game where they had to really dig it out and make sure that they worked for each other and made sure that the distances and they were as compact as possible and disciplined, that they were able to do that in key moments, because our lads are always going to have ability, but on a day like this I think it's most important that they can work within the cohesive unit of a team, and that was my biggest worry for today, and I felt we were able to do that. So I think they were the big things, and then towards the end of the game we started to see some of the patterns we wanted to see a little bit more when we had the ball, which is probably the hardest part of the game, because defensively that's easier to organise than actually when you have it and being able to create attacks and being able to play. So.